And I believe we are live. Hello, everyone. Okay, let's see. Yeah, now we are. Now we're officially live. When the counter starts, you know we're live. Wow, what a month it's been. Waiting for this game to come, and then it comes, and wow, just the overwhelming controversy of everything that. And I wouldn't even call it a controversy. It's just you're getting two sides of the thing. And the reason I did this was to give a forum to people that wanted a chance to come on. Now, all you have to do is email me at novaprime860@hotmail.com and come on and give me some of your input. Let's discuss things. Dale, how you doing? Good to see you. And I wanted to have this an open forum where you can either put your comments down, which is fine. I've got more things to say. And also, or you can come on live here and have a discussion. And the reason I'm doing this is a couple of different reasons. Bill, how are you? Number one, when I first finished this review, now one person had said, well, you spent 20 hours with it. You must have liked it. No, I went over and over and over to make sure that when I decided to put out that video, I would do it right. Number two, the original video was 55 minutes long for a review. Tina, how are you? 55 minutes. Then I shot it again. I got it down to 44 minutes. And finally, I just said, okay, let me cut a whole bunch of stuff out and get it down to 27 minutes. And hopefully I can get my point across. And then I saw a bunch of people that are just answering everybody because they're just so passionate about it, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong about being passionate about something. What I don't is they're trying to shove what they think they're right down somebody's throat. And that's not right either. Because you may love this game. There's nothing wrong with that. You may hate this game. There's nothing wrong with that either. You may love apps. There's nothing wrong with that either. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And there seems to be such a division, and it comes down to this app. Now, one of the things that, and again, if you want to come in and discuss this, please do. DRC Fungus, how are you? Pringus, how are you? Tina, how are you? VTP, good to see you all. And you got to forgive me, I'm still kind of suffering here. I get dehydrated, and I don't want this to be me just going droning on and on. I really want you guys to really, if I say something, to respond to it or come on live. That's why I did it on StreamYard. I think we can get a whole bunch of people on here. You want to come on, Chris? Hey, you want to come on? You're more than welcome. 20 hours of gameplay is enough for a good review. I appreciate that. And Rob, this is why I don't do reviews, because honestly, I don't do reviews because I don't feel that spending an hour or two or one gameplay with a game is enough. I never did. Okay. And that's why on this channel, particularly, I'm way behind the curve. I'm one man and I can't play everything. So being part of that cult of the new thing isn't fair to you because I'm not telling you anything. I'm not telling you anything. Okay. And that's why I don't give reviews, because it's just my opinion. And honestly, I honestly feel this. It's my opinion shouldn't mean anything. I'm not a professional. I would accept Tom Vassal's opinion a hell of a lot more. And I'll tell you why. He's been doing this for 15 years. He gets sent to him anywhere from 25 to 50 to 100 games a day. People wanting his opinion on things. Now, let's take a look at the big picture. And the main reason for this is one of the things I didn't convey, I don't think got across correctly. And somebody called me pitiful, which is gutless, because now you have an open forum. You're more than welcome to come on and talk about it with respect. With respect. Hi, Rob. Oh, here. I'm gonna oh, my boy Chris Peach. Chris. More Did not mean to seem rude or obnoxious. It's all right. You're passionate about something and you wanted to get your point across. I think it was just really, and what I said the whole time, nobody's wrong here. Nobody's wrong here. Nobody's wrong here. Nobody. Okay. I want to go a little farther and say that nobody, I don't buy into anybody's review of this. Okay. If they like it, that's fantastic. But there are some people out there that reviewed it. Of course, they're going to be nice about it. They want to keep getting stuff from Fantasy Flight, number one. And I'm talking to very few. And number two, there's a channel out there that if people turn on them, they shut the channel down, change the name of the channel. They don't fight back. They don't stand. When they say something, if you really believe it, stand by it. If people don't agree with it, that's fine, but stand by it. Don't change the name of your channel. Don't go away for 2 months because it was too stressful. So how am I going to take anything that you review? Are you going to say something negative? Are you afraid to? Obviously, some people are afraid to say something negative because of the backlash. When I said things about this game, I go, boy, I'm going to take some heat, but this is what I see. This is what these old eyes see. And that's what I project. I was willing to take the heat if it was constructive. People like to, hide behind their keyboards and get a little tough. That's not the way I play the game. So what do? I open this up. You're more than welcome. Nova Prime 860 at hotmail.com. You want to discuss it? Come on. We'll have a great time. It'd be nice. I would love to have you on here. If you got something to say, put it in the comments. I'll put it up. We'll talk about it. I really will. I want to be fair to everybody. And I think that's the right thing. The people that love the game, the people that hate the game. I want to be fair to you both. And I'm checking my email here to see if anybody comes in. I agree with you. Anyone who, let me read some of this. 20 hours. Well, I appreciate that, Rob. That's huge of you. Hold on. Let me Ken, how are you? Braden Dragon, love your review. Honest and to the point. I try to make it to the point. The thing I think people really got confused with, and they kept on saying, well, every dungeon crawls like this. And I don't think I got it across correctly. And I'll get down to the thing's moving pretty fast. So I'm going to try to go down the line and believe me, I will get to you. I promise you. I won't let up on, I won't let anything by, or at least I'll make sure that it's up on the screen here where you can talk. Is when I said that there's two things going on here. Okay. I didn't feel that you needed all this elaborate 3D, really high quality miniatures because it was doubling up. And I want you to really think about it. It was doubling up because you're really not playing and doing everything on the board. And other dungeon crawls, yeah, you could break out a piece of paper to replace some of the tiles on Shadows of Brimstone, or just draw them. That's fine too. But everything's in front of you, all the cards, all the things. Now, granted, I want to make sure that you understand this. This app does a really cool thing. Keeps it all in there. And does a great job of it. And I heard like a ding in my thing. I'm sorry. I think somebody joined because I'm streaming this on Twitch too. It's really. Oh, sorry. I lost my train, and I still have memory issues after everything I've been through. The thing I'm trying to say is that here you are, you have all this terrain, and it's kind of overkill because you're not spending your whole experience in here. Where if you took Shadows of Brimstone and you laid it out, okay, because you turn the cards and then you put the tile down, and it's completely randomized. There's a difference. Completely randomized. Does the game completely randomize all the time? No. It's telling a story. Okay? So where, yeah, you could put it all here, but really everything's here. Journeys in the Middle Earth was about 50%. This game takes up anywhere to 60. And I'll come back a little bit, Chris, because you made some good points, but I still feel it's somewhere in that 60 to 75% range. And it does too much. If it came back a little bit, I would have really liked that. The other thing is, again, I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to pull up a game here. And somebody got snarky about that. Oh, every time they talk about a fail app, they talk about Golem Arcana. Well, there's more than that. But Golem Arcana made over $500,000 and burnt everybody. So it's going to stand out as the number one. I'm going to point at you. And Harebrained Schemes is still going on. And there isn't one app on an Android or on an iOS that you can do that. But they did give you cards that you can kind of have an out with and kind of just fudge your own rules a little bit. This, if this app if Fantasy Flight goes away, gets absorbed by Atomic Mass and goes away, where does it, and they said, well, we're just going to drop all the apps and pull a Harebrained Schemes. I understand Chris's point from a technology way, but I'm not a technological guy. I wouldn't know that. And if he didn't write that, I would have never known that, oh, well, you can do something with the files on the thing. Me, I pick up my iPad and I go to try to play something and I can't play it. Oh, well, that's gone. What happened? When people bought this game and they got it early, could you play it? No, we saw 5,000 unboxings. You couldn't play it. You couldn't play it. I'm going to check the email again. Everybody's more than welcome to come in. All right, let's move on here. Hi, Rob. I think people are going out of their way to shut down any criticisms because they want to feel justified in their purchase and investment. Stephen, I'll be honest with you. I think there's people that really enjoy the app integration. And I'm gonna turn the tables here a little bit, Stephen, and I really want you to hear me on this. I really want you to hear me on this, and this has something to do with old age. You know, I'm a man in my 60s. You know, my father, when I was younger, okay, I had gotten in television. We had in television football, and my dad was fascinated because my dad's a big football fan, and he wanted to play, but he didn't understand technology. So we would play him, and of course, we would let him stay in the game. But towards the end, I would turn it on him, and I'd start intercepting things and catching up. I let him jump out to a 28-0 lead. I hope he doesn't listen to this. He doesn't talk to me anyways. But anyways, I would let him jump out to like a 28-0 lead, and I would test myself to see how many points I could be down to come back on him. Okay. And when I started coming back, oh, there's something wrong with this controller. I went up that way. It's because he didn't understand technology. And I was like, come on, Dad. All you got to do is move the thing up and down. Watch the screen. It's nothing to it. And that's how I kind of feel with this, is that I kind of feel like my dad now, because I'm not that good with technology. and it keeps on moving faster and faster. And I think that, and Stephen, I really think that this is a natural progression that we're going to see. Now, let's go to when I used to play my father in strategic war games. When I was a kid, he would beat the living hell out of me. Why? Oh, we got somebody that's going to come in here. Hi, introductions are emailed to participate. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to finish my thought real quick. Copy. Okay. Down. Now, like I said, you guys are more than welcome to come in here. And I think once we get somebody in here, it's going to kind of start the thing. And if you don't agree with me, it's okay. Don't be afraid not to. All right. So I'm going to send that. And once Mike pops in, then we'll get that. We'll get him in here and we'll discuss this a little more. So anyways, he would kick the living hell out of me. Why? because this was something he knew, something he was familiar with, something he can keep in front of him and think things out. It wasn't technology. It was moving chits, being strategic, and he was a lot more strategic because of all his time in the military and also as a lieutenant and chief of police. Always tactics, where I was just like, let's take these tanks and go forward because they're going to do a number here. And I feel like I'm my father now. And everything's gotten away from me a little bit. So no, I think the criticism is yeah, I can see that here's a somebody like myself that goes, oh well, this is too much. I'm kind of old school here. Well, that doesn't mean I'm right. That doesn't mean I'm right. Okay, it far from means I'm right. Oh, I jumped. Oh, $2. Thank you so much. Digital Waffles, cool name. Saw your vids. Glad you didn't sugarcoat anything. I can't sugarcoat anything. It's impossible for me to do. You cleared the air on the impact of apps. I really feel that way. And digital, I'm going to write your name down here because we're gonna hit you up with a Godzilla at the end of this. Let's go down here. Stephen, I think that part of it too. You see it in video game pre-orders. Okay, yeah, I can agree with that. Chris, I agree with you. Anyone who has feelings about the game that don't result in 1 to 10 to balance it out, ratings are valid. I disagree only from my point of view and sales. There's things that I could say, Chris, that I can't say. All right, because I know certain things. But there have been some dungeon crawls. Anytime that Shadows of Brimstone gets restocked, it's gone in a day. All right, it took almost 6 days to sell this out. Let's see how the sales go. Is it going to become a thing where they are completely sold out at the warehouse and you can't get it and they have to reprint the thing? Then let's talk. But right now, the companies are playing it safe. We're in a very weird time, and they're only ordering so much. Let's be realistic here. Okay, so they're going to bring in so much. Well, it's not getting the greatest of things on things. Let's back off on it. And they do. And if they sell out, that's good. Okay, let's bring in a little bit more. Then let's bring in a little bit more. Let's bring in a little bit more. I don't think we're going to really know where this ends up. You might be right. This thing might just sell out at the warehouse. I can't predict that. But I do know what's going on. Play the Campaign was a decent game, but nothing to write home about. Was fun, but not a keeper. Okay, Carl. And to Chris's point, he went all the way over. I'm waiting for. I hope Mike can pop in here. I hope he got the email that I sent him. Mike, if you have a problem, let me know. I'm pretty sure. Let me see if I sent that real quick. And I'll keep going here, folks. I'm sorry to stop for a second. No, I sent it. Okay, cool. All right, great. And let's go back up. And normally the guy would just pop up here. So we'll just wait. We'll see. All right. Okay, I'm down here. Betty Davis eyes. Okay, good. I did that so I can do that. Okay, part of this is FFG's following the sales. It's obvious that Journeys and Mantis were good sellers. So this is a natural progression. It's a great point. That's a great point. My problem with FFG is, again, I'm going to say this, and I say this in the video. Excuse me, I got to take a sip here. Oh, excuse me. Is that, hey, you could have called it anything that you wanted, okay? Why'd you call it Descent? Because a few months earlier, what did you do? You hammered it. Bill, thank you so much for the $5. I got you marked down here, bro. Why did you cut that out? All right. I think Mike wants to come in, but he doesn't want any video. That's all right. Oh, hold on here. Oh, he popped out. What happened to him? He was right there. Mike, try again. I don't know if I hit something accidentally. Yeah. And I just, my point was, I really wish that they, if you put all the money into this that you did, it wouldn't have hurt you to pay a little extra money to give it to Rodney, or to give it to or to give it to a one-shop co-op, where there's a couple of them over there, or give it to or Rob and his wife, who I caught a little bit of it. I thought did a fantastic job. Again, I saw some kid Friday night. He played it for about 2 hours. Oh, I don't know why this is getting so much bad thing. You didn't play it, kid. You had it you just got the app, and you spent your whole thing, and you played a little bit of the thing, and all you wanted to do was get a video up there quicker than everybody else. That's why you got 100 people that follow you, okay, and not thousands. I trust what legitimate true streamers say a lot more than some guy just trying to make waves to get subscriptions and views, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. If you are a YouTuber, subscriptions and views, that's how you're gonna turn it into a business. Me, I don't have to do that. And let me tell you something. After this video, I'm putting that game away for about a month or two, and then I'll come back and we'll play it live. But right now, with everything, I just want to be done with it. I'm tired of talking about it, and that's why I'm doing this. Because tomorrow, I want to think about something else, and that's not a bad thing. All right, let's go over to Chris here. I appreciate that you having played 1 million dungeon crawls. I thought your rating was incredibly fair. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I really I wanted to stay open-minded. I'm not a big app guy. No, I'm not, because it just takes something away from me. I gave you the comic book analogy. I like to hold my comic books. I've got 1 million comic books on my iPad and on my Surface. And sometimes I'll sit and read them there, but it just I don't have this feel. So what do? I go over, I pull out an Age of Conan magazine, and I pull it out and I read it. Why? Because I like that feel. I like the smell of comic books. I like to have this thing. Does that make me go, oh, I'm a comic book snob? No. I think digital comics are the future. The same thing with books and Kindles and all this other stuff. It's just, I get fatigued looking at a screen, where I rather read. Saw your vids. Glad you didn't sugarcoat it. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, Digital Waffle. Marty, I think that today's environment plays into things. People forget that you can agree to disagree and still respect each other. And that's the biggest problem I have with some of the comments. Okay. And this isn't pointed towards you, Chris, is that somebody would give a thing and it was like, no. And they were so strong about it. It's a game. And I've said this 1 million times. There's a great point there, Marty. Excellent job. Excellent job. A bad game is better than a good day of work. It really is. A bad game is better than a good day of work. Just have fun. At the end of the day, if you get that game and you love it and you're passionate about it and you love the game, that's the best thing for Fantasy Flight. But if this game becomes a disaster and went down the tubes, as I said, could this be the death of a franchise? Because you really ticked off a lot of people by shutting down that second edition and not making anything for it. You could have kept that open and kind of made a few more expansions for it and called this game something else. I really stand strongly with that. And Mike, I hope you pop back on. I don't know what happened. Email me if there's a problem. Okay, let's go to Dale. Dale, another great channel. Haven't played the game yet. Painted the heroes first, but hoping for the best. I did enjoy Mansions of Madness. I think it's good. LOTR, Journey to the Middle Earth, Descent 2nd Edition, and Imperial Assault, not so much. All right. I look forward to seeing what you think. Do I think you're going to be right or wrong? No, I think you're going to have an opinion and it's going to be your own. And that's the most important thing. And the most I can hope for is that you enjoy it and have a great time with it. I really do. I'm fatigued already after an entire weekend. I wasn't a fan of the card mechanic of LOTR. Well, I kind of liked it. I understand what you're saying though, Carlor the Hunter. That's actually a really cool name, dude. I liked it, but I also didn't like it because I agree with you. It's kind of like, oh, the chances of getting a success. Oh, come on. Come on. I would have rather rolled dice in a way. But I did like it. Dutch Yoda, how are you? It honestly looks to me as if they had put the character sheets and dice randomizer in the app. It would be a great $15 app, but not worth $140. I don't know. I could see both. I would actually rather have them back off a little bit. And I think this game would have been really, really something. Oh, we got Game Line here that wants to come in. All right. I think Mike had a problem. I hope to God that that's not the case. Let's invite our friend here. Copy the clipboard. All right. There we go. Right click, copy. Sorry. I'm just sending this, and then we're going to get, I believe, watch, we'll be over, and then everybody will want to pop in. All right, there we go. Okay, there it goes. Boom. All right, sent it off to him. All right. I think if they backed off on it more, I think it would be more for everybody. More for everybody. And again, I think if they just had some things, they said these cards are optional only if you want to play without the app. Would that driven the game up a bit? Yeah. But would you have rather paid $175 or I mean, would you have rather paid $200 and had it for both sides, or would you rather pay $175 and just have it one-sided? I would have gladly paid $200. I would have gladly paid whatever. All right, Tyson, what about in multiplayer setting? One person is mostly working the app, but the other players are watching the board. What are they watching? What are they watching? Because when you half the excitement is when you open up that thing. I disagree with that, because I feel that in some ways that you really have to have that app in multiplayer. Yeah, you can go to the person. Okay, you know, then one person's kind of doing all the work and they lose the immersion into the whole thing. Okay. And then they're going to have to hand it to another person and say, listen, you control it this time. You can do, and then people are going to get tired of that, where you can just basically put it up on a screen, have everybody see, and go and move the thing over to them and say, okay, you control your character. What if you accidentally hit the wrong thing or put in the wrong number? Well, yeah, you could back out of it. That's one of the great things about this app. You can back out of stuff. But I think you want to put in the thing and feel that from the app. And this is where the app counts, is you want to have it in front of you and you want to feel, all right, I rolled that. Okay, I'm going to put in, I got 6 successes. Let's see what happens. Let's see what kind of, because remember, on that board there, it also doesn't show you the weaknesses. You can only see them on the app. I think that's a torn thing. And then when you go into town, now that's where the real confusion becomes. I think you have to have, if you play multiplayer, you got to have it on the screen in front of you. I really do. That's my thought, but I can see what you're saying, Tyson. I really can. You're not wrong there. The app also gives monster randomness weaknesses. Yes. Does the monster AI manage to craft your resources, take care of the story choices, give random rewards from such things based on characters and such? Does monster AI manages? Yeah, this thing does a lot of stuff. It does a lot of stuff. And that's part of it where I'm kind of torn with this. I really do. The app here simply does what no other dungeon crawler can do, as elegant as it can be. Character story arcs change monsters. Yeah, if you choose different things, it's going to change it. I've tried and restarted the campaign 3 times, and mission 2 was very different. That's 100% correct. That's 100% correct. But you only got 2 choices there. And what's going to happen? Here's the thing that I wonder. We pass the app to the person who's taking the turn. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the best way to do it. To go a little further, Chris, and Chris said a lot. Different. Okay. The app is a standalone client on PC. It will never go away if you have it downloaded. Okay. All right. Now, hopefully, like I said, I'm not technology, so I'm not even going to argue with that point. Whatever. Okay. But a lot of other apps haven't gone down that road. Now, if this is something that they're going to do, now I'm not putting it on a PC. Is it always going to work in my iOS? Because I've got other apps that didn't work. I don't know. Martin, how are you? Good to see you. All right, let's keep going here. I've played a lot of Journeys. It's not really a board game experience. It's more like a tabletop RPG with the app as dungeon master. Hold on here. The queen sent me something. I hope everything's all right. You know what'd help if I put on the doggone glasses, huh? Again, I never said this was going to be a professional hour. We're kind of okay. All right, there we go. All right, it wasn't anything important. It's just her interrupting me. I could see where you say that. But I really liked it. After all Descent reviews coming out, I actually ordered JIME and its expansions. Ended up being cheaper. Good one, Simon. I think you'll like it. Clint, what's up? If I wanted to play a video game, I would just play a video game. I mean, that's the easiest out argument, I think. I think that's the easiest way to get out of it in a lot of ways. Gee, what happened to the game line? Okay, I wonder if my link is broken somehow. Okay, I'm just going to check. I'll reset. Well, no, because whatchamacallit popped in. So I know the link's good. Okay. That's an easy out, but we're talking about the future here, where there's going to be this integration. And I kind of feel like that old war gamer that paper maps were always the way that we went. And well, guess what? There's now matted maps. There's a higher quality stuff. Well, no, I'm going to stick with this because this is the way we used to do it. Am I that guy now? Have I grown up to be that guy? I hope not. Jose! Hi, Rob. Great fan of your channel. Well, thank you. That means more to me than you can ever matter. Greetings from the Netherlands. I was really looking forward to hearing your thoughts about this game. I got a 29-minute video that I really, really talk about it heavily. Here, I think we're just really trying to have a really good discussion to kind of really feel and let everybody kind of, this is your time to really, instead of just putting billions of trying to type thousands of comments. And to give you a chance to come on. Oh, hold on. Did this go flying ahead here? Yes, it did. Hold on here. That's the one thing I hate about this. Mike says, thanks. Mike, were you able to come on? You're more than welcome. The app is well done and adds a lot of great features. But like you said, there's more time spent on the app, while Mansions of Madness and JIME had a good balance between the digital and the physical. And that is my home run point right there. I'd participate as well if there's an opening. Yes. Oh, here he is. Let's get him in here. What's up, kid? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Good.
Glad to have you. And listen, anybody else that would like to come in and discuss this, you're more than welcome to. And I'm looking at all these things, Gameline, and we're really taking a look. Smash Mouth Gaming, straight up the gut and punch the bad guy in the face. Okay. I don't know what that means. I canceled or from Miniature Market after watching Tom's review. Tom holds a lot of weight, I think, in this business. If you had a Mount Rushmore, if this all went away, and let me know what you think too. Don't be afraid to pop in here as well.
Yeah.
If you had a Mount Rushmore, I think you got to put him first.
Yeah.
Because of his years of experience and the amount. I can never play the amount of games that man has played. You have to put him on the Mount Rushmore. Yeah. And when he says something, I think you got to take it to heart. You may not agree with him. There was one game that I didn't agree with him. He hated the art on Dark Castle, which was a card, which is a great game that I actually love. It's actually Escape the Dark Castle. And then the sequel was Escape the Dark Sector. And he just hated it. And I loved it. But for the most part, he's usually in that range, and the things that he says are usually right. He's smart with kid games. He's smart with almost every genre of games, where I think I have some extreme weaknesses, where if you ask me to take a look at a lot of Euro games, I don't think I would do as well. This guy can cover everything. So when Tom says something and he was kind of, I went, yeah, this is going to be, and I don't think I'm wrong here. And when
a lot of it's bias too. Like I know for me, Journeys Middle, Journeys in the Middle Earth, this Descent, like if it says app, I'm like, because to me, I think, and I don't know how realistic this is, when they quit updating the app, 10 years after they quit updating the app, can I play this game? I want something, and I want, if I don't have power and I've got candlelight and a flashlight, I want to be able to play it. And plus, I think I'm kind of like you. The feel that you can't replicate the feel of the card in your hand or the dice in your hand and that experience. But I mean, to be fair, and I forget who said earlier, I can see the advantage because I mean, you think of things. This isn't that depth, but I think of like Kingdom Death Monster, or anything that's got just a ton of stuff. Tracking all your stats and your inventory and all that stuff is insane. And you have a game that takes up a table space that's ginormous, and the apps absolutely help with that. But it's just,
listen. I agree with you. Kingdom Death Monster is a monster of a game. So, it becomes this really weird thing now. People hail that game, and there is a cult following that if you say, oh, well, Kingdom Death Monster is too fiddly, they will come out of the woodwork with their axes, pitchforks, and all their torches. So now you've got all these people that are really strong with this game. But if you put this Descent game against Kingdom Death Monster, which is the better game? I bet you most of the people would say Kingdom Death Monster, even though it's fiddly and all this, stuff. Because when you play, every board game is fiddly. That's why you play the board game, is because there's a lot going on and it's trying to do a lot of things. But that's why you play it. And you made a great point. I don't have power for a week. Okay, I have no way to charge my iPad or get my PC or my laptop to go on, and I can't play this game. I have to go to another game. Okay,
well, I think even with your grandkids, like in 30 years, if you want to play something that you've got now with them, are you going to have a phone or an app that's going to be able to let them do that?
Yeah, and you kind of wonder that because a lot of these apps don't last more than 5 years, 5 to 7 years. And the really hit that home a bit here. Let me just do this. I'm going to let you take a look. And people hate when this game gets brought up. But hold on here. Whoop. Bear with me. Oh, share. There we go. Share screen. There we go. I'm learning technology. It's going to be that one. There. Boom. And there we go. What's this? This is Golem Arcana. Pretty nice game. Which was a great game. But now I can't play the app on Android. I can't play the app on iOS. The one thing that they did was kind of gave you a little bit of an out here. Okay. And this is why I can't. Harebrained Schemes ran away with $500,000 of money. Okay, and they barely supported the thing. Okay, so it has a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Okay, but you got stats here that you can actually use and roll the dice with. And I think we're going to try to play this live tomorrow, just to get away from things and say, listen, even though this doesn't have an app, this is what I'm talking about. If you just gave me a little bit that I can work with, if the app goes away or I don't want to play with an app, I can do something with it. I can figure something out. I can home rule it in some way. Mike,
Hey,
Mike in here. What's up there, kid? How you doing?
hey, good, Rob. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Let's
Cool.
get this. All right, go ahead.
You guys familiar with Valkyrie app? It's,
No.
It basically allows for custom content and for Descent Second Edition, and it's on the same. It's on the same Unity engine that it seems to be anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a third party thing. If you look on BGG, you can find it, and it uses the Descent app as a base, and they have some custom content out there. Now that would be something that would provide hope if in any way, shape, or form FFG pulls support for this.
And that's a great point. If they ever pulled support for this, that we got so many people out there that are so smart that they could probably keep these things going.
Yeah.
Okay. Or change it, or update it, or come up. Well, you want to do this? Let me show you how you can do that. I mean, my son's like a programmer. And he made a website for the channel. I haven't even gotten it up because I don't know how to work it.
Well, for instance, they have the original Shadowrun campaign available through Unity that you can play through the existing D2 app. So, stuff like that is going to be the way forward. The only other hope would be, somebody that's smart enough, has a lot of time to do the heavy lifting to reverse engineer it so you can play it without an app.
Okay. My argument, I guess for me, I think because really, so all the programs are they're essentially the math involved in making all those choices, right? Or the text.
Right.
It's just the digital form of the physical stuff. To me, like as a consumer, for me, I would feel like I would rather pay for the game and then pay extra for the app to make it easier if they would just do all the content in a physical form. That way I would have a backup essentially, and they could still not lose anything on doing the app, and they could appeal to a larger audience and a larger group of people, and it would make the longevity better. So when they go to Legends in the Dark and they do an expansion called Legends of the Light, there's a better chance that I'm going to buy it because I know that I've got that option. And if at that point in time I feel like, hey, I'm on the app train, then I can get on the app train. If I'm not, I still have that option with the physical components.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I really wish FFG would reverse engineer and provide a rule book and any of the cardboard components that would come along, because everything else is there.
Yeah, they have to have that logic to do all of it. So I know it's not a content creation. It's really just more of a creating. It's not content creations. It's just component creation. That's the limiting.
Yeah.
I got into. Chris said something here. MM is irrelevant. Well, they're one of the biggest in the nation. I don't think they're that irrelevant. As far as sales are concerned, FFG. All right, if they're doing great, that's great. That's great. Outside of Marvel Champions, let's see if it sustains. Let's see if they can sell out everything that they have. If they do, that's fantastic for them. It's going to keep them alive and not getting swallowed up, with some of the mistakes they've made over the last bit of time. Listen, I'm not against this game selling a lot. Okay, I'm just saying, number one, the story isn't that great. I wasn't overwhelmed with it, and I think it's more of an app. If that's the way things are going and people like it, who am I to sit here on top of a soapbox and scream and say, well, I can't have this? No, I have to adjust and change with the times. I'm an old fart. I'm older than you two probably.
Well,
I
at least
think
now
I'd like to
you've got other games, right? I mean, I feel like at least in this context, dungeon crawls, there's at least a dozen other, way more than that out there. So there is at least options for people that don't like it. And I
If
mean,
you
I
don't
hate
like
it.
it, you don't have to. You don't have
Yeah,
to play it.
yeah. And
Exactly.
I hate it for them. I think they would get a wider audience. And I think for some people, kind of like the perception of fiddliness, like some people look at a game and go, that's super fiddly. Whereas if you're a seasoned player, you would go, well, it's a medium weight. And somebody would look at that and go, oh my God, that's a heavy, right? So it's kind of you have that bias. But I wish they could do that just to make the product better. But
Mhm.
I mean, I think at least we have options because, as you said many times, we are living in the golden age of board games, and there is no limiting factor. There's plenty of other options out there if that's not your thing.
You know, and Mo makes a great point here. And I got to try to get down to the comments that are more relevant to what we're talking about. I fell really behind, so I'm going to have to skip ahead. So I apologize. If you guys want to say something, just put it at the end here. But I want to. Mo makes a great point here. The biggest problem with apps are they have a finite life. Unless they are released to the public for them to mod and keep alive. A board game on its own can be played today or 50 years from now.
Yeah.
What happens with this 50 years from now? You know,
Yep.
I think that's kind of maybe
I think that's generous, Rob. I think 50 years is pretty generous. You know, I mean, I still play Warhammer Quest from 95.
Oh, I absolutely. Well, yeah, me too. Me too. I mean, I'm looking right at it, and I never stopped playing it. I love that game.
I mean, I've been playing games since the mid 70s. So, I mean, I still have some of those games. And so, you know, you're right. I mean, those have the shelf life. And if they're a good game, you'll continue playing them. You know,
exactly.
The one thing that bothers me about, you know, the apps when a game is totally dependent on an app, you can bet it has a limited shelf life, period. You can probably reuse the components, but then again, that's not what you bought it for.
I think an app should be an enhancement and not the core experience
Absolutely.
to get the maximum.
Christian, thank you. Simon, great point. With things like shipping cost exploding, I could see FFG pushing more app, less physical. And you know something, you paid $140 for this, and you got all this physical stuff. Well, you want to know something? They're going to probably push out a couple more quests and stuff like that, and they're going to charge you $9.95.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Look at the expansions that came out for D2. I mean, I've got everything, and I'll tell you what, that's a major investment. And so, you know, if they go the same route, which I call FFG the little GW, basically they use their business model with, you know, expansions, not so much today, but like they used to. But you know, when you look at that, and then you look at all that investment, and then 5 years down the road, game's gone. You can't even recoup your initial investment.
Yeah. And Chris right here, Chris says, Golden Candle Studios, Chris, I like your argument. And he does make some valid points, except when you say this is the best dungeon crawler out there. I have to agree with that. The game's only been out a few days, you know, and the guy, he says it seems radical, but you know, again, what's the difference of calling it a 10 and a 1? Is it the best game out there today? Oh, I don't know.
I think that's in the eye of the beholder, Rob. I mean, you know,
exactly, and he has a right to say that.
Yeah, if he thinks it's great, that's good. There are a lot of people that say
even better.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that say Warhammer Quest is not that good.
Oh yeah. And it's one of my favorite games of all time. Yeah. And yet, does that matter?
No.
And to be fair, to Chris, if Chris thinks this is the greatest thing, that's fantastic. Stand by it. And I understand what he's saying, but
and those communities will be there. I mean, you said Warhammer Quest. I mean, you not be able to find it very easy or whatever, but there's communities out there that are still supporting it, doing stuff for it. So
I just wonder when the shine comes off this, will there be as strong of a community for this as there is a dungeon? A Kingdom Death Monster, Warhammer Quest, Madeira, and games like that. Will the hardcore guy still be there, or will he be looking for something else? Well, the
Yeah,
shine's off.
I think the jury's out on that one. So we'll see what
Time will tell.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
time will tell.
And I've eaten plenty of shoe. Okay, because I put my foot in my mouth quite a few times, and I've come on here and said, "Yeah, man, boy, I got that wrong." When I listened to some War Game Fritz guy who says I have inside and the new, I forgot, Indominus was going to be $300. I went, holy cow, that's a lot of money, or Dominion. And I went on and I said that, and it turned out to be like $150.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and I ate it, and I never will listen to somebody that was just trying to get clicks.
It was how'd that crow taste?
Oh, I'll tell you, I made my wife go out and get me new shoes because those didn't taste that good.
Yeah.
Greetings from Brazil. Great fan of the channel. Thank you, Fabio. All right, let's move it down here. My experience with JIM app is usually I manage the app while the other players enjoy the experience, and I love that. For some people that'll really work, and some people that'll really work for this. Let me go down here and really get down to this where we can kind of be on the same thing. Mike,
Rob, I got to sign off. Good talking with you guys. A lot of
thanks,
good
Mike.
Love the channel.
Thanks for coming on, Mike. I really appreciate it. Take it easy, brother. Microtransactions will be a thing with the advent of app-driven games. Yeah, and if you're going to tell me that the terrain is going to be so important, there's only so many different ways that you can do things. Okay, and I really think. Well, now we're going to call this particular model that was this in the game prior to this, we're going to call it something else. So the app. Now expansions come out for other games, but what you do is you get concrete stuff. Now let's be very realistic here. Okay, let's be really, really, really realistic in the fact that sometimes we get expansions for games. You open up the box, there's a couple of cards and 2 miniatures. That's wrong. So paying $9.99 for more story, I don't think is the worst thing in the world. Krista here says, I really love playing dungeon crawlers with my husband. I just love playing them, period. Nice job. Hey, Rob, have you tried playing Descent 2 with Red Jack's automated monster variant? No, I could barely play. I can play. Look around me. I can barely play the stuff I got. And I try, the only thing I really add a lot of stuff to is Warhammer Quest. I try to get these games out here so you guys can see these things. And that for me is quite a bit. Hey, Rob, I've already read that one. Angry Charlio, the biggest problem I can foresee is to spend more time with the app than the actual board game. And I think that's where this comes in my opinion. There you go.
Yeah, people are looking. I mean, if you like a certain style, I can see how that would be harder, especially introing somebody to the board game or the hobby, because they sit down to play Lords of Waterdeep and they're blown away, and you throw something like this at them, and that's just not going to make any sense. And if they're trying to do the app too and try to figure out the app on top of just understanding the rules, when the app says you can't do that, and they're like, why, and they can't find a good reason for it, that doesn't help their experience either.
Exactly. Great point. I'm making sure we got nobody else popping in here. Okay, good. Krista says, how does this compare to Folklore, which is my favorite RPG style board game that I love to play with my husband?
Solid choice.
I take Folklore over this every moment. There's a lot of immersion. You are real. Check. The best thing I could tell you, Krista, is I did some live plays with Jeremy from Man vs. Meeple or Jambalaya Plays, whatever. And I also, who else was there? Robert. And we actually had some scenarios designed from Julia Hearn, who works at Gamebriar. Watch how we all interact and how important this and how this was. I painted everything up and we had the thing on the board, but they were in other parts of the United States. And yet we were able to play this together and had this incredible experience. I got to ask you on this one, Game Line. Do you really think that this would, do you really think that this game would hold up against Folklore?
From what I've seen, I don't think so. I think what sets Folklore apart, the story, I feel like it's deeper and more rich. And you can I feel like you can gloss over some of that and make it seem with the app, with the bells and whistles, like there's more there than there really is. But if I think if you sat down, like let's take the app out, if you had the cardboard version and you did the story and then you did to the Folklore, there is a clear winner, in my opinion. There is a clear winner for deeper, richer storytelling, narration, and immersion between those two.
And I found it because I was kind of like pushing through the story after a while, and I went, ugh. I don't care about these characters as much as I cared about my Indiana Jones type of guy that I was creating, and praying that I would get the right equipment to go with them. And then, just those fights, oh my God, they were bloodbaths, and trying to adjust from there instead of just rolling that dice in a way.
Immersion's important.
Yeah. Can't believe I gave Warhammer Quest to somebody when I graduated college in 96. Oh, SOB is a excellent replacement. I agree with you there. Let's see what the Big Mo says. When I see an app out, I'll play someone else's copy if we're in a group, but I am not investing my money in something that I have no confident in it's having any lifespan. Good point. Excuse me. Microtransactions will be a thing. Oh, we already read that. Hey, Rob, have you tried? No, I have not. We answered this one. All right, we're doing pretty good here. The biggest problem I can foresee is to spend more time with the app than the actual board game. Yeah, I think we answered that one. I'm sorry about that. Rob, I just bought BF Ascension with 2 minis for $100. Wow, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Game Line, you're dropping some money. I got to give you a live Godzilla too. I'm coming at this from a different angle. I'm hoping I can use this to introduce my son to tabletop games when they would rather be playing their Xbox. Hopefully it's a good gateway to other games.
Agreed.
Ryan, that is fantastic. That is glorious, my man. All right. Because honestly, that I think is the best thing that can come out of these games, is to kind of get them away. Even though I do love my Xbox, I love that new Xbox. I'm playing Quest of Dungeon or something like that. It's this old 8-bit game. It's like impossible at times, but I just get addicted to it. That and 7 Days to Die. But the thing is, if you want to get your kids into board gaming, app ran board games are the way. And Brian, thank you for the $10, bro. And Game Line, thank you as well. Now I got to write Brian down here too.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. And then you can kind of see what they want in the hobby. Because I feel like if they're more creative, especially in that creativity is what sparks them into the video game world, because they get immersed in the story of what they're playing. Then I think I agree with Mo. That's a good way to get them in, because they'll discover all the other. I mean, that was me, right? I did a lot of console, mostly PC stuff, but I did a lot of that stuff, and then I heard board gaming. I realized that was a thing, and I started watching. And I'm like, oh my God, there's these games that are amazing that I get immersed in. I feel the story in. I enjoy all that, and like I've told people 100 times, if I could go back and ditch all those years of PC and console gaming I did, I would do it in a heartbeat to get cardboard and replace it. But you don't know. I wholeheartedly
agree. I know. If you want to come in, novaprime860@hotmail.com, just email me. I think we're going to go another 15 minutes and then we'll shut it down. But you can say a lot. And if you don't agree with us, you're more than welcome to come in here. But all we ask is that you be respectful, kind, and you know, that's all you can ask, because I'm willing to listen to anything. And you know, here's Brian, who made a complete great point out of this. I think a fantastic point out of this. Let's see. Claude, apps for board games is a tricky thing. I agree. Video games are fun. If I want a quick fix for my gaming addiction, that's where I go to. Board games are my go-to for brain burning and some me time. Well said, my man. Well said. Coincidence. Dope. You gotta love Mo. After watching your review, I grabbed some grid paper and some dice and booted up the app. Literally played the game without cardboard. Unreal and sad. I don't think it's sad if the story's really good. And the problem here is, I think a lot of things went into this, but a really deep and enriched story wasn't one of them. And I wasn't passionate about the characters as much, you know, and I don't know why. I don't think that, you know, people were screaming about the art. I don't think the art's bad. I think it's okay. You know, it's a little abstract. That's all right. It's okay. Works for me. Okay.
If I like the story, I think that the art, I mean, I guess there's different people, but for me, the art is not first. It's towards the top, but it's not the top.
Mm-hmm. Brian, thank you. Rob, I was thinking you could do that, Jonathan Reactor. I guess so. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah, you could. And that's the point I was trying to make. Rob Hughes, yeah, it's sad. Downloaded the rules PDF and then looked online for the cards you needed, and that's it. Okay. It kind of proves my point that you don't need it, but you know, you could say that about a couple other games too. If you could download the rule book and kind of draw things. The thing is, now you're talking about cards and all these other things. You can't duplicate those all in one sitting. You're going to be there for a while. I challenge to arm wrestling match. I just say, why don't we just get in the cage and go? And thank you, Golden Candle. The heck with the arm wrestling thing. Let's just do it. Let's go natural selection all the way. All right, let me make sure. Oh, whoa, this thing flies. Thank you for the feedback. Love your channel. Krista, thank you. That means a lot to me. I would take PC gaming over board gaming in some instances. Great point, Mo. There are just some games that I really like on my Amiga, my Amiga emulator and things like that, that I just go.
Saves you table space, that's for sure.
Oh, Dungeon Master is one of my favorite games of all time. I just love the little, you know, getting your group together and going in. Dungeon Master 2 was all right. Eye of the Beholder, fantastic. So some more games. Harpoon was fantastic on the PC. Great call, Mo, as always. What's the difference between an unsupported app game and a legacy game play? That's kind of interesting. Well, here's the thing, Clint, and here's what I'll say. 10 years from now, you may not remember that game. You may not remember that legacy game, and you could forget certain things. And always remember that there's always different decisions that you can do in that legacy game. And you may not remember where you made a point there. Unsupported app, you just can't play.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, I agree. But I'll tell you this, for legacy games, if it's not a legacy game that has something like a recharge pack or some way to reset it, I don't buy it, just because I don't, even though I know I could get an elevated experience by ripping up the cards and putting the stickers on, I don't want to spend that and then not be able to do it but one time. I want to discover the story and invest my time in learning all the forks and the paths in the story. So if it's a legacy that's resettable, I'll do it. If it's not, then I stay away from it. But I know there's people that don't, so that's okay.
I'm going to go one further. Remember, legacy games were a huge craze. Don't hear about them much anymore, do you? I remember that day I was at Gen Con, and they had like 25 copies of Seafall. And I went, it's a legacy game. You're going to play it once, and everybody's going to whip it out here at Gen Con and play it, and it's going to be over with, and then you don't even have to bring it home. You don't even have to bring it home. Oh, we got a little ding here. I don't know what that was from. Oh, jeez. I got to keep an eye on the thing. I got to set up this thing. It's all messed up. But anyways, everybody got Seafall. Seafall turned out to be, people didn't like that game at all. And then from there, kind of legacy games, it was a fad. It was a fad. That's the problem. It was a fad, and people realized, oh, geez, I can't even get rid of this. Okay, without a recharge pack. What's the point of it? It becomes like Golem Arcana.
I really think they should split. They should reclassify some of the stuff that's classified as legacy if it can be replayed.
Mm-hmm.
I think the ones that can be replayed are worth it, but the ones that can't, it's just hard for me.
I agree. I don't have a problem with apps for board games, even if they are not working anymore after a couple of years. I mean, how many old video games are you playing from 10 to 15 years ago? Well, I'll be honest with you, Big Bang. This is where you're wrong, because those retro go on YouTube and pull up retro gaming. Okay, it is a huge thing, and games from 40 years ago that you now have these boxes. I actually have one where I can play anything from Nintendo, Super Nintendo, my old PC, Amiga, Commodore 64, and all these different games. Retro, you are going back and people are going back and playing games because of the stories and all that stuff. So that doesn't really hold up because it is a big business right now. And those things sell out like crazy. If they come out with a new box or a new retro thing, why do you think all these stores that are doing very, very well, Cybertron and stuff like that, all they sell is retro games. They hold up.
There's not this. I mean, I understand what you're saying, Big Bangs, but I would say the experience is different, because if I'm playing a game from 15 years ago, there's generally a very linear story. Mm-hmm. And once I play through it several times, I mean, I may play it because I enjoy it, but how much replayability is there? Number one. Number two, even if I play the same game multiple times in physical form with people, that experience is unique, and I feel like more rewarding, even if it's the same game multiple times, having people around that table to do that with, as opposed to, the digital experience.
Absolutely. And Craig here says, I'm in the similar camp to Brian. My wife wasn't interested in Gloomhaven or other dungeon crawls that I enjoy, but the combination of 3D terrain and the app, she is excited to play this one. That is the best thing that number one, I can hear, and the best thing for you too, because now that's a fantastic thing. That's everything that Fantasy Flight wants. Does anybody want to see Fantasy Flight go away? I don't. I have a lot of stuff here I'm throwing my pencil that historically I have here that means a lot to me, and this company means a lot to me. So if I get a little critical and go, boy, why are you doing that? It's only because I care. I don't want it to go away. It got bought out by Asmodee, and you remember Christian Peterson and all these wonderful people up and left. And it was heartbreaking because there was so much things from Rune Wars to, I'm looking at Horus Heresy when they had the Warhammer license. Okay. And all the fantastic things. The most exciting thing about Gen Con was waiting for the in-flight report.
Yeah.
Okay. So please, to hear Craig say, boy, she's excited, we can't wait to get this in. Don't make me, I'm not here to go, no. That's the best thing. Just because I'm not overly thrilled about it doesn't mean anything. I want this thing to succeed, because maybe with Act 2, because it says Act 1 in that little corner there, folks. Act 2, maybe they take some of this and they go, oh, okay, let's kind of do it this way a little bit more.
If there's enough pushback, I think that they would change.
Yeah.
Things.
And I'll be the first one to stand up and go, yeah, go get this right now. And combine it with your other stuff and have this fantastic experience. It's the best thing we can hope, right?
Yep.
I don't do this for views. I don't do this for subscriptions. Okay. I don't do the, I wasn't one of the first ones. I had it on Friday too. I could have done an unboxing to go with the 900 other unboxings. I could have played it live here and experienced with everybody and got the clicks and the views. Okay. But I wanted to stay with this thing because when with the things that I heard and everything leading up to me getting that into my hands, I wanted to make sure that I gave the best possible video that I could. And I felt I did that today. And I opened up this, and then I said, what I wanted to follow it up with was an open forum where anybody could come on. Nova Prime 860@hotmail.com. Anybody could come on. And if you disagreed, if we could talk about it, and I think that's the most important thing is being able to talk and to agree and hear each side's points. And you want to know something? Don't be so thick-headed and not open-minded, because both sides have valid points. It's what you take of all this information, and maybe you find something in there that goes, something, I'm going to get this game. Or maybe you go, maybe I'm going to play something else and put my money somewhere else, because just from all the information I got. And don't get me wrong, I was happy that Rob's gaming table, is it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Did this video and did a great job with it. I didn't want to put that kind of time in it, but him and his wife, fantastic job, folks. Tip of the hat to you. Okay. I can respect that. And you really helped a lot of people make decisions, probably more good than bad, which is good. But they should have went to them to begin with. And they should have never called it dissent.
Well, this is not, and I think this is a lesson for every game. This is an opportunity to be an agent of change. If you don't like it, I think you should let, as with a Fantasy Flight, you should let them know in a positive way. I don't necessarily think if you go out there and just absolutely blow your top that it's a good way to get your point across necessarily. Mm-hmm. But if enough people would just go out there and say, hey, this is what we didn't like and this is why. Because at the end of the day, it's about sales. If they fix their stuff, then that will generate more sales, and you'll have people in Act 2 that with some sort of kind of like Simon does with Zombicide, they got those crossover packs. We can bring all that stuff into Act 2 and we fix the stuff in Act 1 into Act 2. It's good for the community as a gamer, and it's great for them for a company.
And that's why I rated it the way I did, because it's wide open what they can do. It really is. It really is. There's a lot of things they can do. Kaboke, what's up? I don't want to own a board game where I'm paying almost $200 for a video game and a box of physical download content. Good point. Even with grid paper approach, any use for any non-app components other than tracking locations of characters and obstacles, might as well implement that in the app too. Good point. Everybody's saying hello to the queen of Rob's Tabletop World, the mighty Kabuki. Love your channel. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Take it easy, pal. Nice old school Amiga. I love my Amiga. Oh God. I add about the app and agree that with fear of longevity, but I have found, with a few exceptions, I often replace games in my collections far quicker than the app would be out of service, which is a great point, Greg, which I think I brought up as well in another video. I think they stopped at a weird stop for the app-driven game. They probably started with a certain element in the app and then expanded with, let's do that in the app. I could see that. I don't. That was said again. Okay. Great point from Brian. Yeah, that this could be a gateway game. And I think that's a fantastic point. That's why we have discussions like this, so we can bring stuff up like this. I agree with what you said, Rob. If they wouldn't have named it Descent, it would have been a totally different conversation. Just tape over the name. Yeah, there we go. Until it left no meat on the physical components of the. Okay. Krista, thank you. Krista, we got to add to the Godzilla, the reign of Godzilla. All right, Krista. Oh, there's going to be some Godzilla. And Kabuki's got something to say. I'm currently playing Resident Evil 2 Remake for the PS4. Man, I am really loving that one. Great game. Great game. I think if worse comes to worse, FFG can always print out a manual and outcomes in a scenario book and sell it as an expansion for things like MOM and JIME. I agree. Mansions of Madness and Journeys to Middle Earth. Hi, Rob. Thank you for getting me to finally try 4 Against Darkness. Great game. Love it. I remember playing Close Assault on my Atari 800. So do I. Back in the 80s. Board map counters were immersive. Perhaps this game should have been marketed as a video game with some physical components. I agree.
We may have already said it, but I think it's true that there's probably some games that are, console games or PC games that I don't know how you could legitimately in effective way convert them into a board game. I think of things like Satisfactory that I play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a clue how you would convert that. So it's
I
not
agree.
for everything.
No, I agree. Kabuki said, fantastic. A legacy game that is resettable is known as a campaign game. Glorious. I loved 4-player Mule on the old Atari computers. That was the best way to play it. I agree. Even though the board game wasn't bad. Seafall, you mean Seafa? Oh boy. Here we go, taking shots. There goes Mo. I like legacy games that you can play it later, like Aeons and Legacy. I agree with you there. Baldur's Gate, bruh. Yeah. Baldur's Gate, one of the best. That's what I said. Okay. They go, well, it keeps track of everything. Well, so does Baldur's Gate. I just hit the Y button and I can check my inventory. It's a cheap out, to say that. But that's why I wanted to be open and do something else and say, well, I could just play this, if I want to play a Japanese role-playing game, well, I can play it on the PS4. If I want to play, Baldur's Gate, I can play it on my Xbox. I played Colonization 1994. That old one that they did was a great game. I agree with you. There is a big population of retro gamers out there. I'm one of them. Me too, Kabok. Me too. Let's don our hats, kid. Let's get our propeller beanies out. Have you not been to GOG, Humble Bundle Steam? A ton of legacy games still out there. Great point, Mo. There are plenty of retro games still being played out there, speed ran and streamed. You know it. Curious question, but has FOG discontinued an app so far? FOG? Generally wondering if they were examples.
I don't know. I mean, my problem with if this continues what I think you meant, my problem is not like they may support it, but I mean, there's going to come a point where the hardware, they're either going to quit updating it or the hardware is going to outpace it. I just don't want to be in the camp that can't do it.
Who's FOG?
I
think maybe he means FFG.
Mm.
Okay, curious question. And if this is the question, no, they have not, but they also been bought out by Asmodee, and they've lost licenses that have been moved over to Atomic Mass, which I believe is owned by Asmodee, correct?
I think so.
So I kind of got a feeling, is Fantasy Flight going to kind of go away, or is it, there's a lot of weird things going on and it makes me scratch my head. If this was Fantasy Flight and it wasn't owned by anybody, I just say I wouldn't. Matter of fact, let's just discount the whole question of the thing being discontinued, because we have no proof in that or anything that will go in the future that they will ever discount that. Okay, let's just say that this app's going to be around for a long time. Okay, my problem is more that it's more app than board game. That's where I really come from. Not so much that it'd be discontinued. There is fear of it though, because of so many apps having been discontinued. Okay, and they've only gotten into apps in the last couple of years. Okay, you
Well,
know
and how
what
many
happened?
things from BGG with variants? I mean, that are homebrew stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
if you have the app
which
that's
is going
doing
to
all
be
that and you don't have a way to get access to it, you can't really. That community has no place to grow
yeah.
for that sort of thing too.
Jay plays a ton of video games, okay, but it shows how much bigger the gaming market is to board gaming. Very true. But sure, there are definitely video gamers who are cult of the new and only want the newest games. It's true too. Skyrim is 10 years old. I still play it on. I play it on 3 different platforms. Asmodeus, Borg. Oh God, Skyrim is still excellent. Sure is. God, hey, let's not even get into World of Warcraft. God help my wallet if they redo Imperial Salt like this. You know, it would be kind of interesting. But you know, who knows? Who knows? You know, what tickles your fancy? Can they do it but balance it? That's all I'm saying.
Well, now there are options like Tabletop Simulator and BG, Board Game Arena, stuff like that
And I
are
don't
not as good.
and I don't play Tabletop Simulator. I really don't, because if I want to play a board game, I'm gonna pull out a board game. I don't want to learn how to play Tabletop Simulator so I can play the game and then get confused. Rob, your harsh review about this game echoed here in Brazil. I didn't think it was harsh. I wasn't trying to be harsh. FFG set out to make an app-driven game. Why not judge the game based on what they set out to do rather than what you wish it would have been? Mike, I did. And I said for what they tried to do, if you watched the review, which obviously you didn't, okay, I gave it a 6.8. 2 points away from a 7. That's higher. That's not trashing the game. That's saying this is good. I've played it a number of times, but for me, this doesn't work. I don't think I can make it any clearer. Do you see? Do you see why I get the way I do? Why we're doing this right now, Gameline?
Yeah, I do, brother.
And I've spent the last hour here going, everybody should just like what they want. That's not exactly what I'm saying. Yes, there are a lot of okay. Yeah, again, Rob Giroux was not harsh, says Tim. Thank you, brother. I'm just saying that the top games will still be remembered, but a lot of games fall short of the radar.
That's true.
This is the same thing with board games.
Yep.
You know, before this whole crisis that we're going through, and I hope everybody's doing well. Before this whole crisis, when you would go to Gen Con, there was close to 800, 900 games that come out. And about 200, maybe 100 of them weren't that good. But there was anywhere from 200 to 250 games that were really good games that never got looked at. Think about that. And that fell through the cracks. You know, this is a great time to go find those old games that, well, I was on the fence about this. I didn't get it because I wanted to get this, because you can't buy it all.
Yeah.
Unless you're out of your mind like me.
Now, this same thing just happened to me, Ultra Quest. I remember seeing it on Kickstarter, never played it. I finally got a copy of it, and I'm like, man, this game is awesome. And it's been out a while, but I just never gave it a chance. It fell off the radar just like that.
Yeah. I wish FFG would do more Legacy of Dragonholt. I love that. We didn't finish the adventure. I've got it right over there, and I think we're going to pull that out and play that one of these days. I think we're going to pull that out and play it again. And where is my mother?
Amen, Kabuki.
Where is the Outer Rim expansion? That's a great point. Rob, you're a great dude. Keep it going, brother. Thank you, Rob. That means a lot. You'll be lucky if it gets supported for 3 years. Well, let's see. Let's think positive. I really dug Descent 2E, but we played that with 1 versus all and had a ball with it. I think it works. I really do. And that's why people are upset. Let's call it dissension. Yeah, really think we should. I just don't think they should have named it, and I think they should have left the door open for a real 3rd edition.
They set expectations. That was the problem.
Yeah, that was the problem. They should have never called it Descent if it's not Descent. They caused an uproar when they did that, and they said, hey, this is Descent, Legends of the Dark, but it's not Descent. Listen, we were all excited when they pulled up that box at the end of the flight report. We were all losing our mind, me included. And then things got weird. Regardless if the game is successful or not, you can still pull it out and play it 10 years later. People are justifiably worried about a 170 game that may be obsolete in 10 years. Yeah, I think that's kind of over the top there. Let's see here. C64 rules, bro. Oh, those gold box games were great. Asmodee really pared down what FFG actually publishes anymore. They kind of broke up what FFG was. And that's my point. If they're doing this now, what are they going to do in the future? Not a board game. I like how Restoration Games said that the Return of the Dark Tower app will have a source code released to the public if the company was ever to fold and fail and continue to update it.
And that's why I didn't back that one, was because of the app. And I thought, with that mechanical piece in 10 years, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But that's awesome.
That is awesome. That's a fantastic thing. Would be nice if everyone made that promise with their source code. Harebrained schemes. 6.8 isn't a terrible review. At least it's still fairly solid. And that's what I really believe. It's fairly solid. Have you played Journey into Madness or Mansions into Madness? If so, how did you enjoy them? I thought they were good because they were the app was balanced. Okay, it wasn't that tweaked over to the right-hand side. FFG used to be gold tier for games. Everything may not have been a home run, but everything I've played has been solid. If I saw FFG, I was confident. That's all gone now, not just with this Descent. All right, Daniel, I can see where you feel that way. Yeah, that must be IMO, in my opinion, at Kabuki. I'm hoping that game is awesome. One of the few non-war gamers that will pick it up. Okay. Yeah. I miss the old FFG. Here's Michael. You spent the first 10 minutes saying that all the components were unnecessary because they were shown. No, I did not spend the first 10 minutes saying that. Watch the video, Michael. Everything could be simply drawn. I said, and I corrected it earlier in this video, and I'm gonna say this for you, Mike. Okay. Everything's duplicated. You have all the 3D terrain here, but it's also on the app. So which do you need? Okay. Which do you need more? Do you need that 3D terrain there to move your, can you do everything just on the 3D terrain? No, you can't. You have to go to the app to really do everything. Okay. I said, if you don't want to put all that terrain out, okay, and you can actually draw it and play it on a paper map. You really could. All you need is the cards in front of you. That's what I said. That's what I said. That's what I said. And I cleared it up, and I wanted to make sure that I said that the whole point for me, okay, I like to play things that are in front of me and that I can concentrate on those things. And if I draw a card or this, that, and the other, that's great. But when I have everything, I move, and then I got to do everything here. It takes away from everything that I'm looking at here.
It takes you out of the experience.
It took me out of the experience of the 3D and put me into the experience of the app. And I was more in the experience of the app that I felt that I didn't need the 3D terrain. That's what I was trying to say, Michael. Honestly.
It feels like double work when they do that.
It did feel like double work. Isn't the second edition a little boring? Some people love it. Some people hate it. Dungeon crawls are really funny with a lot of dungeon crawlers. Okay. There are certain things that are great, and there are certain things that people hate. Some people like Mansions of Madness. Not Mansion of Madness. Massive Darkness. Some people loathe it. Some people can't stand Alter Quest. Other people love it. It depends on your taste. There is an app for Mansions of Madness for the second, I think it's second edition.
Mhm.
No more FFG sleeves. Writing on the wall for board games. More emphasis on apps games. Possibly. Gaming companies run by suits, not by gamers anymore. It's possible. Mike, rewatch. Second edition has a required app. Yes, VTP. I'm just going through this. Thanks, Kabuki. I've got the first edition. Phew.
I think you're going to see more like smaller companies like Chip Theory as an example that are smaller companies that haven't gotten that big. I think they're going to continue to grow and put out some great stuff because they don't have that suits problem. The bigger ones have a lot more stakeholders and they're looking more at the bottom line. Not that the smaller ones aren't, but they're willing to meet a minimum threshold and not make a lot to get out a good game. And the other ones have a higher level of that want to make more. And I think that really informs their decisions.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree there. Okay, I'm going to close that. And then, okay. X-Wing is doing the app correct. Using it for points balance and updates. Gameplay and pieces are still analog. I still have a game, not a computer program with an appendage. Well said. Well said, Daniel. Well said. Second edition makes it all versus app. No options for one versus all. Okay. Thanks, Kabook. Okay, there we go. All right, listen, I think we really hit this subject. And like I said, I gave a whole bunch of people a chance to come on here and talk with me and stuff like that. You know, they didn't take us up on it, but they wrote comments and stuff like that. And we made sure that we answered it live here so you guys can all interact with it and get to it. And after an hour and a half, I can tell you this much, that I'm tired of this. I'm going to put this game away for a month or two. We will come back to it then. Instead, starting tomorrow, I'm going to do something totally different, and we're going to have some fun and do some things. Now, you guys can fight over this game as much as you want, but I will not be in that fight no more, because for me, I did the review like I said. I stand by everything I said, and I'm happy for the people that really love this game. That's fantastic for FFG. It really is, and I'm happy for them. And I hope that they take some of the criticisms that they hear and maybe just kind of tweak it a little bit for the second edition or for some of the content that's coming out. That's why we have discussions like this. So we can meet halfway and everybody can win from it. Wouldn't that be cool? Let's just take a look at a couple of more of these things. I'm not a big app fan with board games, but I have seen some that I've really enjoyed and tend to prefer when they are optional, like how the upcoming Robinson Crusoe app will be optional.
That's going to be so amazing.
That is going to be. Shout out to FFG miniature team, though. I said that too. The miniatures are really good, really nice job. And I see a lot of hope for more of them like that in the future. Uses that hard plastic, does a fantastic job. I use board games as a tool to get my family off apps and electronic, not to integrate them. Great point, Daniel. I haven't played yet, but I am excited for the app as it will take away all the fiddiness and tokens and bits. You know, I want to make one more point here. A lot of people are afraid to play heavy dungeon crawls. And what this game does, and I want to say something positive here, is if you are somebody that are intimidated by these things, this app is really going to help you. Because this is a gateway to kind of get you into it. I think it's there for a reason, and it has a purpose. It really does. For an old fart like me, no. It was too much app for me. That's the only thing I can say. And the story was weak.
And I started on Gloomhaven. We started out in my game group playing with the physical pieces, but we switched to that just because it was easier. That's, to me, that's why it was okay with that, because I could go back to the physical if I had to. Absolutely.
And to go one further, listen, I put out a video. What is the least like dungeon crawl? Do you want to know what it was? I was completely blown away by it. I made a video and then I check all the comments. It was between Massive Darkness and Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
Gloomhaven, one of the on BGG, one of the most hailed games, because people did not like the Euro part of it, and stuff like that. But that game has so much story to it and stuff like that. It just shows you different tastes, and that's okay. Everybody's saying goodbye. LOL Molt. Okay, evening all. How you doing, Blue Tweezers? Awesome job, Rob. Great talk through the stream. Glad I can hit this on so many different ways. Here's Mike. Let's see what Mike has to say. It's about allowing other types of games to exist, even if you don't like them. I never said I liked them. That's my point. We don't need to hate on the company and review bomb them because they tried something new. I didn't review bomb them.
And they have a ton of titles that everybody loves. Twilight Imperium would be
Oh,
one that comes
God.
to mind immediately. For me.
If you're listening, okay. I didn't review bomb them. I said, and I've been saying nothing but positive and some criticisms. There are some criticisms here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you can't open your mind and see that, I don't know. You have to be open-minded. You really do. And I think some people just can't be. It's either their way or no way. It's a problem with society nowadays. Rob, all I need is my broadsword. Okay, Gloomhaven is way more of a puzzle than a dungeon crawl. See, this is where different people have different feels for it. As a solo player, I appreciate board games that have an app. That's great. Madness and Descent, that permits me the opportunity to play the game. Otherwise, I would not be able to. I agree with that too.
Yep.
Yeah,
Jaws of the Line, it is definitely.
Not you on BGG. Okay, Mike. I'm sorry. Mike, I agree. The spectrum of the way everything is and how people, it's either a 10 or a 1, is disrespectful to the game itself. Descent, it really is. It's a disrespect to the game. Because if you think that's the best game after only a few days, the best game ever made, that doesn't make sense to me. So that means if another game comes out in 2 months, oh, this is the best game. Okay, well, which one is? They can't both be the best game. One of them has to be the best game ever. And somebody that calls it a 1, okay, if somebody is stupid enough to call it, oh, this is the worst game of all time. Okay, yeah, that's your opinion. Yeah, that's your opinion. If it's a 10 or not. But is it the worst game ever made? No. What happens a year from now? That's why you can never give anything a 1, and you can never give anything a 10. Okay.
People's piece, they change.
Because there's always going to be something better. You know, something a middle or high 9, that really says a lot about a game. A 2, that says a lot about a game. These people really skew people's decisions, and they'll look at that and they'll say, oh my God, this game got a 4.0. That game Descent is not a 4.0 game. Okay. It's not a 4.0 game. It's not a 3. It's not a 2. It's definitely not a 1. Okay. This is a game that could be played. My thing, again, as I said, being an older guy, I want to just focus in one place. Okay. I think he meant, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I got it, Kabuki. I think we fixed that. That's what I thought he meant. Oh, okay. I thought he meant me. You have more respect than that. I know. Thank you, Michael. And I apologize. I really do. I'm so sorry. See, now I'm going to put my shoe in my mouth. I don't want to do that. I played Gurren. I used every component enemies. I found an app to track the enemy health. It changes the game for the better. That is a great app, not needed, but useful. Great point, David. That's where we're at. That's what I'm trying to say, David. All right, listen, I'm going to cut off everything here. Okay, take BGG with a grain of salt. And that's the shame of it. You shouldn't have to. We're going to have some, listen, there was a bunch of donations here, and we are going to, is that bomb damage assessment? Okay. I don't know what that means. All right. That's just coming to, okay. We got the big G here, and we got a bunch of people that have donated. So what we're going to do, hopefully if I get my mouse working over there, most unprofessional channel on, whoa, what did I do? Oh, I know what I did. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Okay, what did I do here? Oh, I know. Okay, above cam. Okay, there we go. You see all the comic books and stuff I got on here? Boy, look at all the stuff I got on here. One day we'll just go over my dashboard. One day we'll just go over my dashboard. Okay, let's. Oh, I thought I showed all that. Okay, we got some Godzillas for Big G for some people. Thank you so much for donating. Number one. Number two, thank you for being a part of this. Okay, and having an open discussion. I think it's really important to take time and discuss, not for views, not for subscriptions, but to discuss things and let everybody have their viewpoint, especially with a game like this that really hits a lot of nerves with a lot of people. You know, this is a good, solid game. It's to me, it's not a great game. I think they can improve on it. And I am actually looking forward to part 2. I'll be honest with you. I'm looking forward to it. All right. First person, Brian, thank you for the donation. Let's see if he gets some music. Come on, G. Come on, bro. Oh, man. That ain't right. That ain't right. That ain't right. This is what he does. See, he gets sore at people. He really does. I don't think he liked the game either, even though he's electronic. Digital. This one's for you, bro. Let's see if he gets the music. Does he get it? Oh, oh, gee, what are you doing today? People are never going to give anything to this channel ever again.
It's a bad hump day for G.
I know. Bill, here we go. Come on, brother. Come on. Bill. Bill got stuffed. Oh, G is not doing it. He's not hanging it. Game line, this is you, bro.
Oh gosh, come on, G. Be a good boy.
He's live on with us, bro. Here we go. Oh, gave it to him.
Yes. Yes.
Gave it to him.
That's a trick, baby. Y'all got to get in on these discussions with Rob.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. That's a trick. All right, let's see. Krista, who's so nice and so kind. Godzilla, don't do this to her. Oh, gee. This is 1 for 5. 1 for 5. That's like 200. That's not good. And you lose your job in baseball if you're batting that. You lose your job if you're that. Listen, I want to thank our good friend here, GameLine, who you will find in the comments more than often. I like to do this more when we have subjects. You know, once my video goes up, I think I want to do this where we have an open forum. Listen, I leave it wide open for you guys to come in and say what you got to say.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
That's what's going to grow the community as a whole, and that lets everybody talk. We learned some things. I think we saw some options that maybe we didn't see before. I mean, I think it was. Yeah. It's worth it. That's why you do it.
Oh, Golden Candle. We forgot Golden Candle. I didn't write him down. We got one more Godzilla before we do our round. Maybe see, because we forgot him. G, you better help him out. Oh man, that's just cold. 1 for 6 with the Big G. Golden Candle. I'm sorry, bro. Wow, that was harsh. I want to answer one more thing here, because have you tried playing Golem Arcanum on Android? I tried downloading a thing onto my Surface. I think it was called Blue something or another that somebody said to, and I can't find the app anymore, and I can't download it onto this kind of Android opening up thing. So if somebody knows how to get it on the Android, maybe we'll play it tomorrow, where I can get it down onto my Surface. We'll do it live here, and if you could just help me out and email me at novaprime860@hotmail.com. MM still has expansions available, but no base game for what? Oh, for Golem Arcana? No, that's long gone. There's a couple of expansions still out there. Considering that one music played for all who donated, I tell you, He's really hurting me, Kabuki. He's hurting me pretty badly. All right, listen, that's it. We've been on long enough. I hope this helps. These kind of discussions are important. Thank you so much to everybody. Thank you, GameLine 146.
Thank you for having us.
Everybody that contribute and you know, that brought up some points that I didn't even think of on the other side of the fence, because I think that's important, and it helped close the gap for me a little bit. You know what I mean? And I think that's a good thing. And I think me getting out and saying everything that I said really made, I really was able to get everything I wanted to get into that 27-minute video that originally I did in 55 minutes. Who was going to sit through a 55-minute video of this old fart talking? Wait a minute. You sat here in a live thing, but at least you had each other to talk to. So it's a lot better. All right, everybody. Say goodbye, GameLine.
See you guys later. Watch and subscribe, Rob, and the channel. Keep it positive in the comments. Let's help everybody play some games and have fun together. That's what this community is about.
Gee, I got nothing to say after that. Goodbye, everybody.